Mayor of Memphis, I'd like to call this meeting to order with Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please, Donna.
Davis.
Here.
Simon.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Wilson. Sukasar. Sukas W.
Here. All right, non-agenda items from sidelines. We have a couple today. Scott Sofa's here. He lives on Saban Street. He wants to discuss parking. What do you have, Scott?
This corner right here is very dangerous. I'm suggesting the curb be painted yellow and the rule be enforced.
Well, Bart's not here, but I can tell you, I've discussed that with him before and wanted to go out there and paint it myself. I said, give me a bucket of yellow paint. I'll go out there and paint it because with the licensing, the state licensing and all that Bart has, he can't go out on a state highway and paint on a state highway. It's the state's responsibility, and with his licensing through the state, he can get in trouble. So I told him, give me a bucket of paint and I'll paint it because people do park right on that corner. This is a fire route, and you can't block that fire route. That is a problem.
Around the whole corner.
Around the whole corner. It needs it up about 8 feet toward downtown.
How many feet is it off the corner? 20 feet or something like that?
Yeah, it is.
25 feet?
And actually, Bill's mentioned it several times as well, because he sits there and watches people almost get hit.
Well, I was almost in an accident the other day pulling out of there. The car had to stop coming this way till I couldn't see that way. So.
Well, that's one of the reasons we put the gravel on the south side of the road too, to get people from parking on the north side of the road. It is illegal to park on the north side of the road on Potter here. There is a no parking sign, but it's because Donut Girls is so popular right now, it is still happening. And it is dangerous. The police know about it. They've been telling people, you know, we haven't been just handing out tickets haphazardly, but they've been telling people, look, you can't park here, you need to move your vehicle. So I appreciate you bringing the subject up, but it's on several of our minds right now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Scott. Next is a non-agenda item from the sideline that Ms. Pam McCready asked me to read her statement. It's about maintaining a ditch in the front of her house. To City of Memphis, when the ditches were put in on our street, the ditch in front of our house was supposed to be dug at a maintainable level, 3-to-1 grade with a 3-foot bottom. It was dug this way. It wasn't dug this way, and we were told the city was responsible in maintaining it. Our ditch has not been cut since August 2011. I have called and left several messages on the DPW number with no response as of yet. Thank you, Pam McCready. Now, she came in today and asked for this document, to fill it out, to come to talk to tonight's meeting. So I made some phone calls. First, I looked and see if there was any type of agreement between the city and her to maintain that ditch, and could find none. There's no agreement. Secondly, I talked to Bart, and he says he has, in the past, a couple times when she's called and asked him to, had the mowers come and run down through that ditch. I asked her, I told her I've got a ditch in front of my house, and it's my job to maintain it. I don't know of anyone in town whose ditches are maintained by the city. So the only other thing that we can look at is if it was constructed incorrectly. I told her if it was constructed incorrectly, that should have been taken up before the contractor got their last pay. But she says it was when Tatton was mayor. Which, does anyone know when Tatton was mayor last?
98?
98?
Technically, mayor would have nothing.
Well, it's just that's the year it was, whenever that was. So it's been
14,
15 years that since this agreement was in place that she says was there that I can show no proof of. So I don't know if you guys want to do anything on this, no action, or,
I would like Bart.
okay, we'll just forward it to Bart.
Make a motion to send it to the DPW committee?
No, I just said it.
Okay.
Just, well, you know, the thing is,
City property, though.
it is not city property, it's private property. The thing is, we need to resolve the
What
issue.
street is that on?
It's on Pratt. We need to resolve the issue. You know, whether we send her a letter in writing that says, you know, first of all, it's not city property. Second of all, you know, if it was constructed incorrectly, it should have been taken up at the time of construction. And it's not the city's responsibility to upkeep, it's her responsibility. She needs to know this and it be resolved. In my mind, you've got to resolve a problem. We can't just say, let Bart handle it and maybe the ball get dropped. We need Bart to come get back to me and me to write her a letter and tell her how it is. And if she doesn't like that, then she'll have to take further action if she wants to or not, but we need to make a decision on this. So, I mean, I don't know that just Bart handling it is the way we want to handle this. We want.
Isn't the city responsible for some of that, because from the center of the street, aren't they responsible for so many feet
Well,
off the side of the road?
not really. If you look at a lot of things like sidewalks,
Yeah.
my property has a sidewalk in front of it that's actually in the public right of way. It's my responsibility for the upkeep of that sidewalk and for the grass between the sidewalk and the actual roadway. So even though I don't own the property, it's something that I have to upkeep.
Well, you own it.
No, actually, on the survey of my home,
The right of way you're saying, right?
yeah, on the
So that just
survey,
gives them the right to go on the property to do work. It's still your property to the middle of the road, I believe, isn't it?
not on my house. Actually, my house, from what they own, the right of way that says the city owned in my survey that I got, it actually goes right to the other side of or right to my house side of the sidewalk. But under the laws, I'm still responsible for the sidewalk and the grass around it.
Me too.
You do? So, I
Shovel
mean,
sidewalk and mow the grass too.
yeah. So, I mean, all of us, most of us, I'd say 75% of us in town take care of ditches that aren't to the specifications that she said, 3 foot wide in the bottom, 1 to 3 pitch on the sides. My ditch isn't like that. Matter of fact, it's no fun to mow with a push mower, but it's still mowed. So I think we need to answer her question somehow, whether DPW committee gives me the go-ahead to send her.
She doesn't have a copy of any type of an agreement, right?
She said she has no agreement. I can find no agreement that the city had, and Bart says there was no agreement, and that he has, out of the goodness of his heart, mowed it in the past, and that's always a problem.
I was
the neighbors are on all
I was
their
on
phones.
council when Pratt was that, and there was no such agreement.
Okay.
To my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that
Yeah, I
either.
think you were.
I wasn't here when they.
I was here when they
I was
paid
here
it.
when they,
I was here when they paid
I
it.
was
I think it was
here when-
right after when I got.
Yeah, I was
here.
here when they did the pre-construction, a year or two
Right.
ahead. Also, I was here when they did the paving.
Well, from what I know of constructing a roadway, before you make that last payment to them, you make sure that everything's done to specifications, and that's what you have the on-site engineer
That's what he said.
and Bart, and that's what the neighbors should come out and say if they think there's something that's not, and it should be handled before that last payment's made. Once that last payment's made, they're not responsible for anything, just like the road that got washed out Mill Street down here, we had to pay extra out of city pocket because that we'd made the last payment and everything, it becomes our responsibility at that point. It's her ditch, I mean, she could always grade it a little bit if she doesn't think the grade makes it manageable. But I don't think that any of this is city responsibility, and she needs to be told that.
Well, I'll discuss it.
Okay, maybe you can get Bart to give me something, and then if I have the okay to go ahead and send her a letter afterward. So, all right, that's it on hers. Moving on, none. Let's see, comments from city administration. None.
Our auditors will be here next week.
Oh, good times. Auditors here next week. Water bills are due by the end of the month. Okay, that's all. Chief.
So I have a few things. Last council meeting, council approved the purchase of the new car. We actually lost that bid due to the lapse of time.
Oh, no.
I did submit, which I can remove it if it is an issue, for a 2013 Dodge Charger, which is $1,000 cheaper than what we originally did.
No, I have no problem with saving $1,000. Does anybody else?
For a newer car.
That was a tall one.
All right, that's fine.
And then I also have a bill for our software renewal. We do it every year.
Yeah.
It
How much is it?
did increase to $2,145.
All
It
right.
comes out of solid each year.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the purchase of this, or the renewal of the annual software for
Core technology.
Core Technologies?
And how much is it?
2,145.
How long is that?
It's an annual contract.
That much for a year?
Yeah, it's for our
It's also access to lean.
lien.
And it's all your reports too, right?
Yeah, the lien
So
on the
we
reports,
file that with
everything
them?
else.
Right.
It's all
It's
done.
everything. It has
It's
to be,
required.
you have to have it.
Yeah.
Another thing that the
So,
state.
can we get a motion that we
I'll make it.
renew
I'll
our
make the
contract with Core for $2,145?
So moved.
I'll support it.
Holstein,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
And, you know, while we have the car as an issue, there's been some misunderstandings or some people, some undercurrent of people, why do you need a new car? Why do the police need a new car? Now, our oldest vehicle is in 2006, and the maintenance of that vehicle was becoming cost prohibitive to own, as well as reliability. You know, we don't want to have a car that our police can't rely on when they're out and about. Plus, the money is coming out of salvage, which means that none of our tax dollars are actually being spent on this vehicle.
You know, I'm kind of getting tired of having to explain
Yeah.
every little thing to people on Facebook,
Yeah.
and most of them I don't even think live in town.
Well, if anybody,
It's really getting,
if anybody definitely doesn't understand this process, you know,
run for a council seat.
run for a council seat, get involved in the day-to-day budgeting.
Yeah, be at the budget meetings, don't complain about
Come
it
to the
3
budget
months later.
meetings, give me a call, I'll explain the salvage money to you. The thing is, when there's so many questions out there, people stir up other people when it shouldn't be an issue. You know, when you start talking, one person starts talking about something, other people go, yeah, why are we doing that?
You mean like when someone says somebody put a picture of your house on the internet, but they've never seen it because they've never even been on the internet?
Right?
Right.
So, yeah, if anybody wants to know why we need a new vehicle, we need one. It's not out of taxpayers' dollars. We're doing it, using the salvage money, which I, in my mind, believe we need to spend so that they don't take our salvage officer away from us. If anybody needs further explanation of that, feel free to come, give me a call, set up an appointment. I'll meet you up here at City Hall. We'll go over the paperwork. And that includes the entire budget. You know, people have asked for copies of the budget. If there's any issue, instead of bringing it up publicly, give me a call first. Come down here and sit down. And if I can't explain it to your liking, then you can yell outside and, you know, let everybody know. Okay. Anything else?
I did talk with our city attorney about the ordinance for the municipal civil infractions.
Right.
He is in the process of reviewing it. He did say that he doesn't have to review it. It's a council issue,
Okay.
to approve it or not. So,
What about like the chapters and there's like little notations in there with the little squiggly thing, and I know when I was putting that together, I didn't know what that meant. So
I think that's probably just from the ordinance that we originally copied it from.
right.
It's probably detailed to.
What I'm more concerned about from the attorney is it enforceable? So he can look at things and say, you know, this might cause a problem with enforceability. Instead, I mean, I don't,
Well, anything that we would issue municipal civil infraction is already an ordinance.
Okay.
It's just, in our current ordinance, everything is a misdemeanor,
right.
where usually you have to set up a court date if you do one, but if for this one, you can just pay the fine and nothing really comes of it.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Pit bulls, there's
Okay.
an issue on Facebook. Pit
Yeah,
bulls.
people are talking about pit bulls right now, and we had taken, from what I remember, we had sent that question of that ordinance to advisory to find out, you know, more information on it, what we need to do we need to get rid of it, do we need to revise it? I did a little searching after that, and it's pretty sobering. I pulled up a report that all of you have in front of you. Between January 2006 and December 2008, there were 88 deaths from dogs, and of those, 59% were pit bulls. So, I mean, just keep that in front of your mind. There's different ways to word the ordinance or change the ordinance. I don't believe we should take somebody's pet away, but we need to somehow reiterate their responsibilities for owning that type of pet, the type of pet that's known to be unpredictable.
So,
Don't we
if
have in the ordinance that they're
Not allowed.
not allowed?
So
Yeah.
when these people have dog licenses,
Yes,
so we're issuing dog licenses for a dog.
we don't issue dog licenses
Macomb County.
anymore. Macomb County does them out of the Humane Society down in Macomb County. We
Not
don't
in St. Clair
issue-
County.
St. Clair County, we issue dog licenses, right?
And a lot of the dogs in town aren't licensed.
And a lot of the dogs in town aren't licensed.
That's another problem that we've faced.
I mean, I'm sure more people die from backyard swimming pools and more kids die in 5-gallon buckets than this, but,
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
it's
kind of
just-
hard to turn back the clock when you've made this ordinance, which was on here before I was on here.
1996, I believe.
We've got.
And now if we were to repeal it and something was to happen, we would probably be liable, the city, not
Well,
we.
I
the city
think we need to look at it. I don't know that we need to repeal it, but I don't believe in taking somebody's pet away. There's been dogs that have lived in town for, I don't know how long. How long has your neighbor lived in town? Because you're longer than you. So, I mean, we've had people with those types of dogs for 5 years, 6 years without incident.
Well, I don't think you want to take something away, but I think.
But we should,
curtail it.
we should look at it a little bit, not necessarily say you can't own that type, like I said, not necessarily say you can't own that type of dog, but definitely maybe, I mean, I've read there's different ways to do it. They have special licensing we could require if they have that type of dog, special licensing, that we know that that type of dog's around, you know, and they accept more responsibility, even criminal liability, should that dog attack somebody because they know it's unpredictable.
Actually, when, last time we talked about this, I called an insurance company to find out, you know, you could make someone get like liability insurance, and they told me they had never heard of that before, so I'm assuming that's.
It's not that we make them get a special insurance for it, but we don't want anybody attacked. There's not been any attacks that I can remember in the past from a pit bull. You know, dog bites are typically, I mean, I'm in over 400 houses a year, and the dogs I worry about are Chihuahuas. You know, they're the ones that are gonna go after your ankles.
You gotta worry about my beat, I'm worried about my neighbor's pit bull, that's all I know.
So, I mean.
There's through that.
So, perhaps, I don't know if advisory's still looking at it? Is advisory still looking at it?
No, we got it on the book. in the
Okay.
book. We
Yeah.
don't need it.
I mean, if you want us to look at a certain aspect of it.
Well, here's the thing, do we want to take people's dogs away? Because that's what started it.
That's what we're
Somebody's
doing.
has a pit bull in town. There are pit bulls in town.
Yeah.
So do we go to those people's houses and make them either sell their dog, get rid of their dog, or you know,
We had an incident last year. He was here. And his mother had this pit bull for 13 years. She still got it.
right, 13-year.
And it's a house dog.
I have a problem with taking a member of somebody's family away because somebody else's member of their family hurt somebody. I really do. I mean, because that's what these are. These are member of people's family. And I couldn't see making somebody get rid of their dog, no matter what our ordinance is. So I think we need to look at it again, possibly change the wording, figure some way out where we're not making people get rid of a dog they've had for 13 years that is a good dog, just because it was born a pit bull. You know, I think owners make dogs.
There's no bad dogs, only bad owners.
So, well, anything else? Jamie, add anything?
We concluded our July board review today. We made some corrections to the record through the official process, and looking forward to jump-starting the summer and getting ready for the next season. But everything's going well.
Fantastic. And I had asked you to look at the alleyway back here and see how we can figure out what the city owns and what we don't need to be owning and what we can do with it, because it's a mess. Other city-owned property, I don't know that there's any that's like that. And I've shown you guys the map that I that I pulled off last time. There's just pieces, yeah, it's
Guys
like
were-
a chessboard of little pieces that we own back there and other people own, so we need to help, just get it off of our liability, because there's spots back there that aren't as well kept as they need to be, and the city owns them, and it could own, like, we could own a lot of liability should somebody fall in one of those holes back there, so. But there are sewer lines and water lines going through there, so we'd have to maintain or retain an easement and the ability to go in there and service those lines in there.
Well, let's make a point then, maybe before the next council meeting,
Okay.
to have identified all of the properties, and then we'll look beyond that to see what easements we can identify and what issues that are connected to that.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Anything else?
No,
No? All right. Moving on, adoption or amendment of the agenda.
got one change. Under new business number 3, appoint a mechanical inspector. The further changes, I make the motion on the agenda as amended.
Support. Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yep.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Monson.
Yes.
All right, hopefully Bill had a chance to go over the regular meeting minutes of July 3rd, 2012. If there's no changes, I'd entertain a motion to accept those. Anybody?
Nominations.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Monson,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Moving on, communication, there were none. Unfinished business, there was none. New business, introduction of ordinance 192, mechanical ordinance. This is due to the fact that we're going to go with a mechanical inspector who's local instead of using the state. We have to have this ordinance in place. So basically, it's just putting together that agreement that we're going to use the State Construction Code Act and blah, 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 blah. Anybody have any questions on it? All right, I entertain a motion to introduce that.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 192.
I'll support it.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar,
Yes.
Lucas W.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Monson,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes. Introduction of ordinance 193. This is to allow open-air markets in downtown central business district zoning as well as adjacent industrial. Basically, the planning commission put this together, and we'd like to kind of push it through, so if anybody's interested, they can at least have a harvest market, and have something going on downtown. The reason we had to put this together is Mom's Country Kitchen came to me and asked if they could have a little farmer's market in their side parking lot a day or 2 days a week. And what they needed to do, a call to the city attorney, let me know that's absolutely against our zoning, and you can't do that in any zone. You can't have any outdoor sales in any zone that we currently have. So we needed some type of ability to do this. One of the nice things we did is we were very lenient on this, but if we do it together for 6 months and find we need to be more stringent, or that it's not really working out, it does say that we issue these permits at our discretion. So we don't have to issue them the next year until we figure out how to do it again. It also says that the fee for this is at our discretion, and I believe the first year we should go ahead and waive the fee for anybody who's interested in doing this. So we just need a motion to introduce this ordinance 193.
I guess I just have one question, is the hours you have here is from 7 AM to 10 PM.
Right.
I guess I'm wondering why we need to go as late as 10 PM.
Well, in the summertime, it's still light out, but I mean, if you watch farmers markets, when people dwindle, they just start packing their stuff up. So, I mean, that's worst case scenario, and 10 PM is later than most stuff downtown stays open, so I don't think you'll find them staying open that late. And that's not that late in the summertime, in my as in my opinion, because the sun's just going down. So it's basically dawn till dusk is what I'd seen in other places, but, you know,
No, I have no problem with the whole thing, other than the time. I think 10 PM is too late.
well,
I think that's what our noise ordinance is.
that is what our noise ordinance.
7 to 10.
I don't think they'll be out there that late. I don't think it would ever happen, but,
You know, that kind of covers in case, like during the Memphis days in the evening, if they're selling like glow-in-the-dark things and just for a
Right.
daytime. Because we have parades at night too, you know,
right.
and they will cover that. I think 10 o'clock should be okay.
Anybody else have an opinion on that?
I just wonder, it's an annual fee,
Yes.
but only 2 people can rent the same location?
It's not,
Yeah.
they have to own the location, and it
Oh,
has to
they
be
have to
their
own it.
property. So
Oh,
and they
okay.
have to come to the planning commission with where they want, okay, this is where we want to put our market, and they have to have enough parking for,
So since that's Mom's Kitchen, anybody that wants to go there will have to go through
they'll
her?
have to deal with her.
Okay,
It
Yeah,
becomes
she would
private.
hold the permit, and then she could,
It's-
lease
and-
out spaces or tables,
Right,
however you want to
Right,
work.
the city is not responsible in any way. She's totally responsible for setting the market up, cleaning the market up, and making sure that everybody obeys the rules of not only her rules of the market, but also the city laws. And if they don't, if they're breaking any state, federal, or local laws, we can take that permit away from Mom, and she won't be able to have the market anymore, basically.
And also, you can only have it in the central business district or basically Grace's parking lot. It's
Right.
the only.
And the only reason we added that is because Grace's parking lot would be a good place for it. You know, in the event that they decide they want to do it, it's a nice big open parking lot, and they could actually have something there. So,
And we're only gonna issue 2 permits per year?
2 permits per year.
We can always change it.
Yeah,
But-
and this is, like I said, this is just our start, just to see if it even worked. And we don't even have to issue 2 permits, you know, that gives we do it at our discretion. It's, if the city council decides, you know what, we've got one guy up and running and he seems to be doing okay, but if we give another one, perhaps that would draw business away from him, and right now, we want to just let that person, you know, we can do that. It's all up to us. It leaves a lot of wiggle room, so.
I'll make the motion to accept this ordinance on our books as presented.
support.
Right now, it's just an introduction.
Introduction.
Yep.
Lukasar,
Yes,
LukasW,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
All right, next is the mechanical inspector. Larry and Donna interviewed 2 gentlemen this morning. William Karras and a Dan Jex. Dan Jex. And the recommendation from them is they're both qualified. They recommend Mr. Karras out of, he's right out of St. Clair, and I talked to him also. He seems ready and willing to work here in our town. He has actually done actual construction here, and he agrees that dealing with the state inspector could cause delays. So what we need is well, actually, you know, I don't even know that we need a motion to hire him at this point, because we're going to do his contract at the special meeting. So do we?
Either way, it don't matter. We're gonna hire him. and
Yeah,
we
we're
haven't
gonna-
signed the contract, but we'll sign get the contract drawn up.
Okay.
And prove that next meeting.
So we just need
So-
to agree to that we're gonna hire Mr.
But-
Karras
But if you
and,
want, you still can make the motion to hire him tonight.
Okay.
So
All right.
There's no problem doing
all right, well, then I just need a motion for Mr. Karras to become our mechanical inspector.
make the motion.
that. Awesome.
LukasW,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yeah.
Schneider,
Yep.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lukasar.
yes.
All right, other new business from the mayor. I'm supposed to remind council that there's a special meeting July 25th at 6:30. You already have an agenda, but it's gonna change. Right now, it just has the Cole Street Construction award the contract on that. But we're gonna also adopt the two ordinances that were introduced tonight, ordinance 192 and 193, as well as approve the members of the Construction Board of Appeals, which is part of basically ordinance 192. We have to have a Construction Board of Appeals to go with that ordinance. So we have the members of Riley Township Board of Appeals that have agreed to do double duty for the city of Memphis. And then we're also going to approve the contract with the new mechanical inspector that we just hired. We're going to put a contract together with him. So those are actually going to be on the special meeting of July 25th at 6:30 p.m. Also, our August
What
meeting,
time?
6:30 instead of 7 o'clock.
And we do need a quorum, so we need, excuse me, only about 4 people show up, so.
Also, August meeting is held on August 8th, not the 7th, due to the primary election. So it will be pushed one day later to Wednesday, August 8th. Let's see. That's actually all I have tonight. We can move out of here pretty quick if everybody else has hardly anything. Larry, what do you have?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing? Robbie?
All right, thanks.
Frank?
Excuse me, except for we had the library board last week and the new members got it going and that's all going good. We welcome 2 new members on the library board.
Speaking
Yes,
of
in the
library.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember now.
I knew there was something else.
We got an email from Ruth Solkowski. I don't know if you've seen downtown, but she's the one that took the old, it's the old antique store and in the windows has old pictures of Memphis in it. And it's really great to see that instead of just an empty building, because it gives you something to want to walk past and be downtown. And she'll be doing also the, another building downtown, and she's looking for photos of Memphis veterans to go in that building. And if you can drop photos off at Donut Girls of veterans that live in the area, they can put their photos in that other building. She also asked, she's doing a lot around for the community, she asked if she could paint the doors of the library and over there, the library and the community center, because if you see, they're fading and they're going down the hill fast. I talked to Bart, he's all for it. He says, you know, we were putting shellac on there or polyurethane on there, and he says it just doesn't seem to be holding up the way it should. He's all for, you know, having somebody paint it if she wants to donate her time to do that. Color, he was like, well, maybe burgundy, the color of the trim, or, you know, I don't know what color that we will want to do it. It gets a lot of traffic, so you got to be careful with white because it gets dingy pretty quick.
She's gonna coordinate with Bart anyway.
So she needs to coordinate with Bart if we get a motion to allow her to paint and coordinate with Bart on color, or if she just wants to seal them up or stain them and seal them again, whatever she wants to do. I appreciate her dedication and volunteerism in the city. If there were more of us like her, then we'd get a lot done. So anybody make a motion to allow Ruth Sikowski to paint the doors on the library and community center?
I'll make that.
Support?
Support.
Okay.
Davis,
Yes.
Hulseth,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Sukasar,
Yes.
Sukastabio.
Yes.
All right, sorry to interrupt your.
That's all I have.
Guy, you have anything?
Just a question, any update on any activity with the gas station in town?
The fall is when the state is supposed to come in and start cleaning it up. I'll give them a call this week and find out if they have an ironclad date set. I'll let you know.
That's it.
I
Eric?
got,
Bill?
I have. What are we gonna do about the streets out here if we got Memphis Days coming up? These streets out here are filthy, along the curbs.
Yeah,
You got
no,
grass growing
I think
on
last
the state
time
highway.
he had the sweepers come out, I don't think he was happy with the service, so I don't know. Bart's not here to tell you what his plans are with it, but if you'll let me, I'll go out with a flat shovel and you and I can,
It's too hot for me.
well, you can sit in your van and I'll just put the dirt in the back.
That's what I'll drive.
You drive, I'll shovel. What, I mean, whatever, I mean, you're right,
Yeah,
the drains get
yeah.
clogged. And there's problems on this, along the state highway that don't get taken care of because it is a state highway and I think.
You mean I didn't have to clean mine out?
You didn't have to, but it wouldn't have got cleaned out otherwise, because I've never seen the state here doing it.
Who's
So-
responsible for Mill Street, for the drains on Mill Street? Is that us?
That would be us.
That's always a mess.
Well, if we have drain problems, I guess maybe we just need to make a little more noise with Bart to get his guys out to do it. I've heard this, especially over the last, when you have a wet spring, it clogs up pretty bad. We've had a couple downpours that definitely have moved some dirt and some debris.
We're on full pine cones.
Those
The
might,
grass just sits on top of it.
those might be from my house. I have a lot of pine cones.
You know, we used to have a
I've
guy
been all over the
that,
place.
he used to come through here on a Thursday night to sweep the street.
What happened to him?
Back in the 70s?
Why don't you call that guy?
Yeah. I don't know.
Was
who,
he a friend of yours, Bill?
He still came through anyway, but it looks a lot better than it did now. And we haven't had anybody else.
No, we haven't. You're right.
And I've thought about myself getting out there and see him shovel it.
They came through
I'm not shoveling.
Once, yeah, they came through once, and I believe Bart wasn't real happy with the service, is what he told me, and he was looking at other options, because I think they just smeared, it was
Right.
wet or rainy that day. And
Well,
they
I mean, those
said-
things like a big long paintbrush, it's not gonna pick all those pine cones out of those big grades.
We had the guy come through here. And he used to do Richmond's, and then he'd come through here. But Richmond bought themselves a sweeper.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So
And Yale did
you
too.
don't see anybody anymore.
Yale did too. But sweepers, like you said, won't really work on some of our, we need a vac truck to come and actually, that will pick up, I don't know if you've seen those vac trucks that'll pick up bowling balls, but you really need to suck that out. And, I mean, it keeps our drainage going too. That's important when it rains to get the water taken off our streets and out of places. So when Mark's back from vacation, I'll talk to him about that. And we'll see what we can do. Definitely before Memphis Days, with it coming up in 3 weeks.
It also might be worth it, contacting Boy Scouts.
Yeah, it's true. Boy Scouts like to do volunteer work.
If not, we can have our assessor do it.
Show.
I can't afford that.
I'm already paid for it, so.
Him and I'll go out to it.
We'll do it. That's all right.
Anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.